Well, hello everyone. Welcome to episode 40 of the Universe of Magic podcast. My name is John. We are at episode 40. This is insane. Um, Welcome, as always. And I'm joined at the table, as always, virtually by the great Alyssa.
Hello.
Oh, she's got the pose. She had the pose locked in and everything.
This is
And
my
as
my
always, our
recording.
our third chair, Jeff. How's it going, Jeff?
Good. How's it going, John? How's it going, Alyssa?
Oh, I think we are good, and I lost my. There we go. I don't have my tripod set in a very good place, so I lost where my screen was. But that's okay. Man, we're here to talk Disney, and we're here to talk about the latter part of our trip, which was amazing. We're what? I 3 weeks. How many weeks? No, I'm not even gonna bother with that. Uh,
Just a couple weeks ago.
I want to go again. Like I'm hooked.
It's
As always,
part deux of the
part deux, yes.
part deux.
And if I hope you all enjoyed the intro. We are always, as always, brought to you by Moments of Magic Travel, momentsofmagictravel.com for all your Disney, Universal, cruise, you name it, we book it, needs. And as always, if you are new to the channel, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. And if you are subscribing on audio, make sure you comment and say how you enjoy the show, or make sure you leave us a 5-star review or something. With that, Disney dropped some pretty big news on the Treasure today. Before we get into our cruise on the Wish, they dropped the Haunted Mansion lounge thing. It's pretty big.
It had been expected, but then they didn't announce it, right? With the whole
Yes.
It was a strong rumor that was happening, and then they released their video where they were treasure mapping it to all the different areas and never talked about it at all. And then today, just randomly, it's like, oh, we forgot something. Let's show them.
Yeah.
But
it looks cool.
Legit. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
It looks sick.
I was kind of disappointed when I watched the Treasure announcement. I'm like, where's the Haunted Mansion lounge? Come on. Why are you holding on to it? You really want to get people amped up for this? Show the lounge, So, I mean, they kind of left that part out. That was kind of a big thing that they left out.
It did seem, correct me if you guys think I'm wrong, it did seem from the way the preview video of all the concept art was that it is replacing the hyperspace lounge. It has kind of like hyperspace on the Wish. It had this little kind of alcove that you went in, and then the special door, and that kind of seemed like the video that I watched. It was this little alcove, and then it was the creaking door that took you into the parlor.
Which I'm gonna be honest with you, the hyperspace lounge was great, but I think I will enjoy a Haunted Mansion more, Haunted Mansion lounge more. Because, I mean, they just try to stick Star Wars everywhere, which I love, but I think that, I really think good luck getting into this place. You're going to need, it's not going to be fun. If you're on the initial cruise of the Treasure, oof. So, yeah.
At least they have 7 days to get in.
Yeah,
compared to the 3 to 4 on the Wish.
The theming's incredible. I mean, what'd you guys think about the mural above the bar, the hitchhiking ghost?
That's insane.
So cool.
And it looks like it's interactive too. It looks like it's some video up there, and then you got the
in the Haunted Mansion at the end when the ghost follows you and gets in the Doom Buggy with you. I wonder if that's what's gonna happen if you're up at the bar. It'll be doing the thing where they take your head off and juggle it and stuff.
And the hangover will follow you home.
Yeah. I wonder if it'll be something like that though, which would be
now if they could marry, some of the drinks from what's the lounge at Polynesian?
Trader Sam's.
Trader Sam's.
Yes.
They could bring some of those drinks over, like the zombie and stuff. Oh man.
That'd be cool.
Did you guys see the part though where it said it would be a 30-minute experience? That didn't give me the vibe that it was a 30-minute time limit. It gave me more the vibe of you need to be there at least 30 minutes to experience the whole something.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm trying to actually find it on the parks. But man, some of the
interesting.
We'll actually post some of the pictures right here with some of the cocktails. But I mean, oh, like the Disney cruise inspired merchandise. Um, Man, they better have the eBayers on lockdown because there are going to be some like oof, like I want it all already just by looking at it. But
I thought the
yeah,
clock was cool.
yes, the clock. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's amazing, and the mirror. Like I want it all. Like
Yeah,
just
but I thought it was
the chandelier with just the lighting going in and out. I mean, there's just
yeah. I thought it
they
was
just
cool. The
it might be the best lounge that they got in any of the ships. Period.
and I hope because there's one coming to Magic Kingdom. I really hope they pull from this and like again, Haunted Mansion is such a beloved attraction at Magic Kingdom and at Disneyland. It's really going to be hard. They're really going hard. So especially, yeah, there's some things coming down the pike. So
Who
it's so
knows?
that
Maybe
being
interesting.
said,
maybe at the holidays they'll bring in the the Jack Skellington Nightmare theme for it too. You never know. I mean, this could be pretty
yes,
cool.
That'd be cool.
That'd be really fun.
It's super interesting to me how Disney is like they're obviously always going to be a theme park for families and kids and everything, but they're definitely lately catering to the Disney adult with these lounges that they're coming up with. And I feel like being on the Wish, I know I talked about this last visit, like unless I made the intentional choice to go find a character, go visit the kids clubs and stuff, I was a full-blown Disney adult, enjoyed adult entertainment 95% of that cruise.
And
yes.
and Alyssa, you segued nicely into one of the areas that we didn't cover last time.
There was literally so much.
The adult entertainment on Wish.
Yes,
that was just perfect.
It was great.
So tell me about the lounges. How many of them are there?
So we got Hyperspace Lounge, so the Star Wars theme. We have the Bayou, which I was obsessed with the concept of the Bayou, and I never once had time to get a drink or a beignet there. I just didn't have time. So
they had oh man,
yeah, they got beignets there. So we just gotta go back on it, John. So that was one. Nightingales, which is themed after Cinderella, so when she sings "Sweet Nightingale." Something I learned is so it's a piano bar in Nightingales, and over it are these like this light fixture that looks like bubbles because Cinderella is singing Sweet Nightingale when she's like cleaning the floor and all the bubbles are like coming up. So like little details like that I think is really cool. I'll have to send, I don't know, John, if I sent you that picture of the drink I got in Nightingales. It's a little nightingale, like a bird.
Nope, but we will post it right here as reference.
Yeah, and it was an expensive drink, but it was worth. I want to say it was $22 or something, but it was good, and there was enough alcohol in it to make it worth $22. I mean, not that much more. That was the most expensive drink I want to say too on that menu.
I will tell you, I spent about that much at Trader Sam's the night before the cruise.
Yeah,
and they are very generous with their alcohol when it comes to like lounges like that. So good on Disney.
Yeah,
we're good.
The other lounge the other like just lounge without like necessarily entertainment is the Rose, which has the most beautiful views from the ship if you can go during the daytime. I wanted to get the Rose, which is like a drink within like the like this thing over here with the rose, like the inside of it, like Beauty and the Beast. But I found out later it's like a $50 drink. I was like, no, I don't need it that bad.
Now, is that one themed after Beauty and the Beast or no?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's attached. You have to go through the Rose to get to Paulo and Enchante.
Okay.
So, and it is. It's like a, it's a, what am I trying to say? Like a not overboard theme, if that makes sense.
So it's not as in depth like as the Grand Floridian, the Enchanted Rose.
Yeah, I would say Enchanted Rose or Grand Floridian is more detailed for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So same with Enchante. It was subtle. That's the word I was looking for. It's like a subtle, classy thing. Like Enchante in the entranceway had like a little Lumiere hanging off of a light, and that was the only obvious Beauty and the Beast thing. And then the rose does have the rose in like the glass container thingy and at the entrance along with the mirror. So I have a photo somewhere of that too. But so like little things like that a Disney adult would enjoy.
Yeah. There's so much to it. I will say during the Halloween night at sea, Fat Thor was dancing through the bayou. So that was
I'm sure there's a video somewhere.
So I had a family recently that said their favorite one was Nightingales. Did you guys get over there?
Yeah, that was the piano bar with the
piano bar.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and they were playing the pianist. Is that how you say it? Pianist was playing like good like renditions of like popular music, which was kind of cool. Like but like a classical version of it. So it was music that we recognized, which was really, really nice. It wasn't just some like Mozart, whatever. So I thought that was really cool. And the bartenders there were fabulous. They like a couple of the agents I was with just said, "This is what I like. Can you make me something like that?" And they were phenomenal at coming up with something. So,
and all these lounges packed all the time, or was there ample room for people to get in waiting?
That was the weird thing. They weren't.
Wow.
They weren't packed. So I don't know. And again, maybe like kind of like me, I didn't really get to experience all of them like I really wanted to. And so maybe that was the thing. It was just too short of a cruise for everyone to do everything. And so you really just kind of have to prioritize. Like when I went to all these lounges that one night, I skipped out on the theater show that night. So
yeah. And I will say the one lounge that I did enjoy that I ended up watching a lot of football and eating some of the food was Keg and Compass. Keg and Compass was the coconut shrimp was just amazing.
And there it's a charge for the food there.
Yeah, it was a separate charge. So
so the food that you talked about, John, that was all included in your. Or was that extra?
It was not. So that was extra. So like the thing that the one thing I don't want to throw a lot of criticisms because it was a darn near perfect trip. But like paying for popcorn, like that was okay, fine. I mean it's the little things. But like the lounges like charged for food. I mean the alcohol was good. I'm not gonna complain. I watched the Steelers. It was it was all worth it. So
I will say that's a pro tip because people don't know this. If you have a popcorn bucket from any prior Disney trip and you bring it on your cruise, you get the discounted cost of the popcorn.
And that includes Disney World, Disneyland buckets too.
Any of those buckets.
Yes.
Yeah. A bucket from 10 years ago you could bring to get the discounted popcorn.
Yeah, that's what we always do. We always bring a couple buckets with us, and I think it's like 50 cents or $1 less on the cruise ship than it is at the parks too.
Yeah,
like $2 or
and surprisingly, my Aunt Wanda was like commenting at how like the prices on the ship were not more than the prices in the parks. Like she made that comment specifically because you would think that they would really nickel and dime you, but they really don't. I mean, to their credit. So
no, and even like I was in one of the adult lounges, Luna, one night. We were doing trivia, and I just wanted like a ginger ale because I had a migraine. And but that in the lounges it does cost you money. So, but it wasn't astronomical. It was like $2 for like a whole for a can. So like it could have been worse. I pay a lot more than that on an airplane. So but yeah, so just keeping that in mind, like soda beverages are typically complimentary throughout the ship, but not in like some of the lounges. So, but again, they're not terribly priced. So if you have like a non-drinker that wants to come hang out with you, tell them to go up to deck 11, fill up their own cup, and then come meet you. Because you can bring in like your own drinks and stuff. They don't say no to that.
Yeah, it was great. And so like there was so much as far as adult entertainment. The stuff after like 10 o'clock was just like there was trivia. I didn't really get to see if there were any comedy shows. Like
I don't remember any on the Navigator app.
And these trivia and comedy shows and all that stuff, they all happened at these lounges, or were they other places?
Yeah, like I'm trying to think. What's the big? the big theater where a lot of our stuff like took place. The name escapes me. Was it?
Luna.
Yes, it was Luna. Oh, we just talked about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, they had a
Uh,
lot of the adult only entertainment would be in there, and the cast members were very strict about it.
yeah.
They would look at you and they'd be like, "You're not at least 18," and they would kick them out. And then there were some like they'd even ask for like your stateroom key to like check and verify that you're
Yeah.
at least
And
18.
Luna was more of a mini theater, right? Versus like the
Yeah.
lounge.
Kinda.
It's probably seats a couple hundred, I think.
Okay.
Like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's got
And it was
the
2
balcony and stuff
stories.
like that. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
got a
which
balcony
I
and
thought.
everything. So it was really nice. I mean, it was comfortable. Like I remember one of the coolest parts was, and if you're a DVC member and you're like a first time cruiser, they come at you hard. I will say, like, they were just throwing DVC members, gifts left and right. They actually had like an exclusive, like, and we'll throw this in right here, where you could meet Goofy or meet a Disney character, and they talk about, they do like Disney trivia and win prizes and stuff like that. So that was great. But man, like at night there was just so much going on. And it goes on until what, at least 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Like,
I think the
uh,
official closing time was 1 a.m. like every night. So
it's just
so
crazy.
if you are the kind of person who could party until 3, 4 a.m., the Disney cruise actually won't probably be your
No.
style. So they really do. They kind of shut everything down at 1 a.m. every
Yeah.
night.
Mhm.
So including like the lounges. So
Yeah.
There's so many more kids. There's so many more kids on a Disney cruise than some of the other ships. So yeah, I mean, because they probably have families up early,
right.
Mhm.
versus some of the other crews where they sleep in a little bit and do events a little bit later. So,
Yeah. So, but when the nightlife was happening, it was fun. I did the silent DJ disco thing like 2 nights in a row, and that was in Luna each night, and that was a blast. So,
Yeah.
and it was hysterical. So, if you've never done a silent DJ thing before, like it's kind of awesome. So, that was my only complaint, I guess, not really, but it was in Luna, which was like a theater, but so the dance floor area was very small. So I wish
Yeah.
there was a way they could have like
Like, did
retracted back
they move the
seating.
chairs at all for that, or no?
No, it
Like,
didn't.
yeah, like, so that would be a really small space. I mean, I can argue that like some of the space utilization on that trip isn't, on the ship is not ideal, but they make,
Yeah,
the best of it.
they
I
and
mean,
I was so back to your question too, Jeff, of where was it crowded? My answer is no, but I feel like had it been, you would have felt it more because the lounges compared to like when I was on the Magic, the lounges are smaller, but there's more of them. So I feel like when the Wish first debuted, I think Hyperspace Lounge was super popular and you had to have a reservation and stuff for it. I think that could have definitely felt crowded because it was not huge.
yeah.
So like I would say it's probably half the size of Oga's, maybe. So
yeah,
yeah, and a different again maybe because there weren't a ton of people there, but a quieter, calmer vibe than Oga's. Whereas Oga's I feel like has a little DJ and like there's a lot of craziness going on. It's very loud. Hyperspace was like the opposite. It was quiet. So
yeah.
but it was cool because then you didn't really miss like when they would jump into hyperspace and stuff. So
Right.
everyone got to experience it. So
Yeah.
But yeah, are we missing any other lounges that we didn't talk about?
That's what I was just looking at. Like, I didn't really. Those were the
What
only
about
two
Cove?
lounges.
Cove is on all Cove's on all the ships, right?
Yeah.
So was there a version? Was there a version there that transformed into a club at night?
It wasn't like, unless I missed something, which is totally possible. It was not like a club at night. It was really just more. It was actually very quiet at night. We went up there to film a video once, and there was just one little group there, just chilling.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So, that was
we talked about the Rose. We talked about hyperspace. We talked about Keg and Compass.
Now that you mentioned that, Jeff, that's something I feel like Disney should consider. The adults only area is actually quite large. It's just configured in a funny like U shape almost. And they could utilize that area for adult-only events outside. And I think that would actually be really nice. Like, even if it was just like a dance party or something. Like, there's a lot of space. There are a lot of lounge areas, and they could have done some kind of, I don't even know, mix and mingle something. So, like, it definitely could have been utilized.
And then they got, like, Dream and Fantasy, they got the outdoor bars out by the pool too. I think it's called Currents. Is that on Wish too?
Not like the kind where like you can like almost swim up to it, like that.
Right. No, I'm just
like
talking about the one that
water. They didn't have
it's like a deck above the pool, and it's just like an outdoor bar.
They did have an outdoor bar right next to the like infinity pool.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think if there were any other adult only bars in that area. I don't think there were.
I don't really think there is. Yeah.
Again,
I think
I need to go back on the ship. 3 days is not enough to like explore everything.
Yeah, that's the tough part about those 3-day cruises is you start to get comfortable, and then it's time to end. You know, I'm gonna do Wish. I'm gonna do Wish, but I'm gonna do it next year probably when when everybody's jumping on the treasure. I guess 25 maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, end of 24, beginning of 25.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something we didn't mention because one of them turns into a lounge. Are two places: the Untangled Salon and Hook's Barbery. So these are super themed salons, essentially, in Barbery. One obviously after Tangled, one after Captain Hook, and but Hook's Barbery turns into like a little lounge, a little pub, like at night. Like you can get drinks and they're all displayed.
They actually do trivia there, I think. I remember. I think they did like trivia, or no, they were doing bourbon tasting or something like that. Something that I would have loved, but like I just didn't have the time for that.
Yeah, and that was the thing. I had initially scheduled to do a manicure in Untangled Salon because this is separate from the Senses Salon. You can get a manicure, I think, in the Senses Salon, but Untangled Salon is different. And it's small, again, but I want to say they had like 4 pedicure chairs, 4 manicure chairs, and like 4 like hairstyle chairs or something like that. So I'm just estimating. But that was something I had initially planned to do, and then we found out we had training when I had scheduled it. So I had to cancel it.
But I had a sea land excursion too while we had training.
Yeah, so that was, I think that was something that's not typical for most people. That's not a barrier normally going to encounter because we had planned events we had to attend, and that ate into our time, like to explore the Wish and stuff. So, but this does segue though, because I had to cancel that. I was like, well, I want something for me. And so the thing I did book was a massage in a cabana on Castaway Cay.
Yes. Yeah. Let's talk about our experiences with Castaway Cay, because, I mean, you had the more elaborate one. I just had, swimming with stingrays, which was amazing.
Which is, I think, one of the very popular things, too. So I think
it was great.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that in a second, but talk about the massage. It looked amazing. It was in a beautiful cabana. Like, talk about the experience.
Yeah. So, again, you could get massages in Senses Spa, but when I saw there was an option on the beach, like I was like, yeah, I'm taking that one. So, and you can get couples massages too in a cabana. I was in a room that could have been for a couples massage. So, but yeah, it was open air. So you could hear the waves of the water and everything. And it was quiet. It's on the adult side, the Serenity Bay side of Castaway Cay. So that was my only complaint, because we did have a reservation time, and it is quite a trek out to Serenity Bay. So you either can walk quite a ways to the Serenity Bay tram, or you can take one tram, get off of that one, and then hop on another tram to Serenity Bay.
You know that long strip to get to Serenity Bay?
Yes.
That's a airplane. That's airplane tarmac.
It's long. Yeah, it's long. So so you need to set aside a lot of time to get over there if this is one of your plans. But once we were there, I could chill and relax. And it was great. My personal masseuse was great. I wanted firm and as hard as she can go, and she went firm and as hard as she could go. And it was $149, which again, that's probably what you're gonna pay in Sense's spa anyway. So for 50-minute Swedish massage. So, and it was great. And again, I could hear the ocean. It was super calming. It was it was what I needed after, I think, the hecticness of just traveling and everything going on. So
it was, and so I didn't really, so I was probably on Castaway Cay for probably about 4 or 5 hours. And honestly, I just wanted to get back to the ship, maybe relax a little bit, because at that point I was just going and going and going. But I ended up doing let me get the official name here, the Castaway Ray's Stingray Adventure. And it was great. It was honestly a lot of fun. In fact, on a whim, my aunt and I were on the tram, and she's like, "John, have you ever swam with stingrays before?" I'm like, "No, I haven't." She's like, "You should get off and go do it." I'm like, "Okay, I will go do it." So on a whim, I went and did it. I did it with a couple other agents, Jessica, and I forgot who else, but it was great. Because it was, you got to feed them, and they actually give you a lot of detail. You think there's a lot of stigma with, stingrays, because of, just things you've heard in the news, but they're really docile creatures. They're fun. You got the basically set up a table, and you would, hand them the food, and, set it down on a, Mickey plate, and up they would come and, eat it. It was really neat. And then you got the snorkel. My one complaint is I did not bring my snorkel mask. And so this Disney equipment was a little worn, but that's okay. It was fun. I had a great time.
That's what I want to do. I spent 90% of my Castaway Cay day on the adult only side. And it was because I think I needed the calmness and a break. And I just hung out with some fellow agents, and that was really great. But I would have loved to have done the snorkeling to see the things that are at the bottom of Castaway Cay, because that's on the family side. I would have loved to have done pelican plunge and I don't know, just gotten to experience a little bit more on that side. So whenever I go with my family, I'm not even gonna go to the Serenity Bay side. I'm gonna 100% stay on.
I actually went, so after that, I did go to Serenity Bay, and I will tell you, it was so nice just sitting there. I didn't even go in the ocean. I just sat. There's a little bar area right by where the tram stop was, and I literally just sat there. And I got a couple drinks from, the barbecue place, and I just basically sat there, and I, sat on the beach. I watched birds swoop down and, get fish. It was great. It was so relaxing.
There were giant seagulls over there, giant.
So anyway, it was a lot of fun.
Jeff, you've been on several cruises to Castaway Cay. What's been your experiences in the past there?
So, we always do the Castaway Cay 5K. That's one of the things that we always do and love to do as a family. One of the benefits of that is, and I don't know if they are doing it still, but I remember you get to get off the ship a little bit earlier if you're doing the 5K, which is
not anymore.
It's I had heard that.
Self-paced now. Yeah.
Yep. They give you a medal. I don't know if they're still doing it now, but
do that. Yep.
Yep. You get the Castaway Cay 5K medal. But that was one of my favorite things. Like you, Alyssa, I've done the Serenity Bay massages a couple times. It's an extension through the Senses spa on the ship, so you can book it right through the ship, and it's just awesome. I agree with you. It's so calming to sit there and hear the oceans crashing, along the brake line there, and just why would you want to do it on the ship when you could do it in that setting? So I agree with you. It was awesome. I've done that a couple times. But other than that, we will sometimes rent some of the snorkeling equipment or and go out there and snorkel a little bit, or just chill and relax and visit Cookies a couple times and get food and as much as you want. That's what a lot of people don't realize about Castaway Cay for those of you watching, it's an extension of the ship. So all your food on there is complimentary or in your fare. Anyways, you paid for it, but you're not paying extra on there. You know, all the drinks, all the ice cream that you want, all of that is included, minus alcoholic drinks. You got to pay for those at the ship. In any place, you know, you stop and what is there, 3 or 4 different stores on Castaway Cay that you can get Castaway Cay
some
specific.
Really great merchandise.
Yeah, that you can't get
some
on
really great merchandise.
Yeah, you can't buy Castaway Cay T-shirts and stuff on the boat. You got to get them on the island. You know,
I will say the food was really good. The barbecue was like top notch. I'm a barbecue purist, and I did love the food there. You know, it was really good. Again, it was just sensory overload. The thing about and the great thing about Disney Cruise Line is it's just sensory overload. There's so much to do. If you're bored and stuck in your room, shame on you. Like there should be a Disney walk of shame for you. Like because like it's honestly like there's just so much going on. It was just so much fun.
Yeah. Castaway Cay is great. You know, they treat you well there. They even have some local vendors that I think that come in and, you know, whether you want some braiding done to your hair or, you know, some local trinkets, they have some local shops in addition to the Disney stuff that are there for you. I always recommend to my families who travel, you know, if you want to take that tram, do it, but try to pick one of the ways where you walk it. And there's some great views of the ship if you walk that whole thing. Some great views where you can just stop and you know, get some great family photos and stuff. And then obviously you got
the Disney characters along the way. Like that was kind of like the thing. It's like, okay, I have a limited amount of time that I wanted to spend. Do I really like want to go get the pictures, you know, pictures taken and stuff like that? And I was by myself at the time, and I'm like, okay, you know, maybe I'll just check out check it out and just see there's just so much. Like it's just really small like island. I mean, it's not small in terms of like scale, but I mean, there's just so much to do. You know, they had like games for the kids and everything. It was great. So
yeah, my recommendation is get off the ship as early as you can, and you'll get one of the front rows, you know, for the chairs and stuff, which is kind of important, you know, because you can sit there and watch your kids if you have small kids from your chair, swimming. But there is obviously more than enough chairs for everybody on you know, that gets off. But if you get there early, pro tip, you get the front row. Book early if you want one of the cabanas. The cabanas go like on every cruise, they're gone usually by 12:15, 12:30 at night, you know, on those first days for some of the people. And I hate to say it, but you know, sometimes the pearl or the gold people suck them up before they even get to the platinum or the first time cruisers.
The concierge people, they get them.
The concierge. So, but I've never personally, I don't know if either one of you have done it. I've never personally ever got a cabana before, but they look like they spoil you pretty good in those cabanas. So,
yeah, I think Leslie, the owner of our agency, like did get a cabana, and I think she did extend the invitation out to several agents. It's just like I was more focused. In fact, I left Serenity Bay like triple fisting ice cream. I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna go hard. And so I triple fisted ice cream on the way out. I had like grabbed one of every kind. I'm like, you know what? Calories don't count. I'm gonna have fun.
Yeah.
So,
but just top notch facilities, bathrooms are always nice and clean.
Yes.
You know, they always got people in there because you know you go to a beach and bathroom and you always plug your nose and don't want to step on anything in those beach bathrooms.
Yes.
That's not like the Disney ones. The Castaway Cay ones are always clean and you know, people in and out of there on all the time cleaning them. So it's just a great experience all around.
Yeah.
You know, and I saw from the pictures you guys had looks like absolutely beautiful weather. It looks like the day you were there.
It was absolutely perfect. It was, knock on wood, it was absolutely perfect weather. I mean, Nassau Day was a little warm, but then again, you know, I live outside Buffalo, so I'm
Now, what about your approach into Castaway Cay? I've been on a couple cruise ships where we've had trouble docking because of the winds and the current and everything, and it is a thing. It is a thing on occasion where they cannot dock and they have to forego the stop at Castaway Cay. It's very rare, but I've had clients on ships that's happened to. I think second to last cruise we did, they had to go out and come in 3 times before they finally successfully able to dock it. Did you guys have any trouble?
I'll just post while we're talking about this. One of the beautiful things I loved doing, and it was so peaceful in the morning, is just catching the sunrise every morning. Like, I was up bright and early. I just sat in the adults, only section, and I watched the sunrise. And so, like, Castaway Cay Day, I like set up my time lapse on, I think I was at Marceline Market, and I set up my time lapse as we were pulling in. So, like, I'll post that video right here, just to give you kind of a little sample. But like, just to kind of give a perspective, because it was pretty smooth. I will say that, like, they did not have any trouble that day. I think, like, the morning of, the seas were a little choppy, but other than that, it was perfect. Yeah. Like, it was a darn near perfect trip.
We did not immediately sail away when we were supposed to. And I found out after the fact it was because a cast member had a medical emergency. But they didn't announce it, obviously. But we pulled out, I want to say a little over 2 hours after. Like, it was during dinner, I think it was.
Because we were late leaving the night we disembarked, right? Like, if I remember correctly.
The night we got on. Yeah, we left late. So so it happens, but I knew this would happen. I was like, it's going to be rough tonight because the captain's going to have to book it a little quicker to get us to Nassau, and it was I felt like it was rough that night. So
my first foray into cruising, that was rough.
The seas weren't the worst I've ever experienced, but they were rocky enough that, like, you needed medicine or something.
Castaway Cay is wonderful. It's a lot of times it's my family's favorite stop, from all the different ports. It's Disney's owned island, so they know they're going to get spoiled. And starting next summer, they got the second island opening up, which is Lighthouse Point for all.
I'm
excited. It looks like it has similar but also different vibes. Castaway Cay.
It looks more of a contemporary vibe at Lighthouse Point. It's got that contemporary feel to it, but I'm sure they're going to spoil you with the with the Disney way, just like they're doing now, on Castaway Cay. But Castaway Cay is awesome. I can't say enough about that. So
agreed.
So just, I guess, do we want to wrap up at this point, or do we want to, like,
I think we covered it all, right? We talked about the kids clubs. We talked about the nightclubs. We talked about the restaurants. We talked about character meet and greets. I mean,
if anything, it shows you that we needed 2 episodes to go over everything, and John and I still did not experience everything. So, like, there's so much.
Not even one iota, like, how much we haven't experienced yet. So, like, like, definitely, if and speaking of which, if you are interested in booking a Disney cruise, momentsofmagictravel.com for your free, no obligation quote. We are happy to assist. And again,
and we give free onboard credit.
Onboard credit. Onboard credit. Who doesn't like free money?
I have a client that, I'm not even joking, I think she got like $600, $700 in onboard credit, like a buttload of money. So granted, she spent a buttload of money.
I'm sure that they must have spent a lot to get that 600.
But so, like, again, like, that 600, they could have booked it themselves for the exact same price, but because they booked it through me, they're getting $600 back.
And the onboard credit that we offer at Moments of Magic can be used toward the excursions, like John mentioned about, the swimming with the stingrays. It can be used for Serenity Bay massages. It can be used for anything that you do on that ship.
So the one thing that we did not touch on was just the onboarding process. In fact, we'll throw, Alyssa, if you had the video of, like, you guys being announced, but I'll throw that one in right now. As far as like, but just leaving the ship was just a breeze. It was really smooth. It was
And that's an
organized
important
chaos was
it's
the
an
best way
important
I
thing
would
not
say
to
it.
gloss over that, John, because a lot of
Yeah,
these cruise ports and the onboarding, they're using a shared facility. Like Disney Cruise
yeah.
Line in Miami uses a shared facility. It's still a Disney cruise building that they have, but the one in Port Canaveral there that you guys left out of, that is top notch. That is awesome. That's
Yeah,
a Disney
it's
Cruise Line
amazing. It's
only
so
space.
organized. It gives you like a cutout of the Wish that my aunt and I were like just looking at and marveling, kind of giving our kind of a feel for where things are.
And then when they
Yeah,
call your name, you get to go in those big Mickey ears, and it's just
Yes,
fun from there. So
I will say I've been
yeah.
on many cruise lines, and I've done a Disney cruise out in New York City, and like I've done all these other ways to get on board, and Disney was by far the quickest, the smoothest, the easiest, the least stressful.
Hmm.
And I definitely commend on the process they got going there.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
at Port Canaveral.
they do it right. I guess to sum up for people watching and wanting to decide if they should do a Disney cruise versus a Royal Caribbean, you have to, or a Virgin or a Holland or any of them.
We book
Disney
them
Cruise,
all.
yeah, we can book them all. Disney Cruise Line really sets themselves apart for the families. It's really family
Hmm.
oriented. You see on a lot of other cruise ships, there's casinos and stuff where Disney replaces that casino with other forms of entertainment that are more family oriented, like the movie theaters and
Yeah.
such. So, there's no, I'm going to call it ability to get hard liquor on a Disney cruise line. They have mixed drinks and stuff, where you can do that in other cruise lines. Is really family focused. I would
Hmm.
say, unless you guys disagree with that, that's the biggest thing that stands apart from other cruise lines.
Yeah.
Disney does it right. They're one of the few cruise lines that gives you free well drinks, from pop and juice and all that, where all the other ones you got to take a package out. And that's kind of a big deal
And
to some
it's
of my family,
so clean. They
you
were
know?
yeah, it was just so immaculate. Like there were cast members when I was get up and watch the sunrise. There were cast members up at like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, just scrubbing the ship and just making sure everything was clean. You go around like where the pop machines are,
Yeah.
they're immaculate.
Yeah.
There, normally you go to places like that and it's sticky. Like it
We
was
talked
just
with
incredible.
we were talking with a bunch of people. We were docked next to, I'll say, an unnamed cruise line in Nassau, who their ship looked 30 years old, hadn't had a paint job since it was like it had just debuted, and meanwhile there's Disney cast members scrubbing the ship, painting areas you didn't think
Painting
even
it,
needed painting,
yes.
like stuff like
While
that.
you're in
So
port,
while we're in port, yeah. And so again, that I would pay time and time again the cost of Disney Cruise Line, because when I looked at that other ship, I personally would have been concerned for my safety with how run down
Yeah, I
it
think I
was.
know exactly the cruise line you're talking about. But
I'm not saying anything
Yeah.
because I know
we'll,
there's
we'll
some
We
leave,
can't
lovers of
say
that
it.
cruise line,
yeah,
and it
Yeah.
was an older ship. I know some of their newer ships don't necessarily look that way, but
we'll
like
leave it unnamed.
that's what you're paying
Uh,
for, that service
Well,
and that upkeep and everything.
you guys have me
yeah.
definitely curious and wanting to do Wish soon. I've done Magic and Wonder and Dream and Fantasy, but now I really want to do the Wish now after seeing and hearing from you guys.
Yep.
So awesome.
Yeah.
So
And I guess, again, when we talked last time about, there were a lot of people who were skeptical or frustrated because it's not the magic, the wonder, the dream, or the fantasy. It's not. It's different, but it's amazing in its own way. And again,
yeah.
like if you go into it almost feeling like it's a brand new experience, then you're gonna be pleased. You're gonna be happy with it.
My biggest complaint is that they still only doing the 3 and 4 days for Wish. If I do Wish, I want to do a full 5 or 7 days. So
There was a gentleman that I talked to who did the 3-day, got off the ship, and then did the 4-day.
Did like a back to back, yeah.
Yes, I'm like, wow. Like, can I have your life?
that's the only way you
please?
can
Like,
do it right now. You got to do them back to back. but you're paying a little bit more of a premium because of that,
Yeah.
you know. So
and then you got to pack up and get off, and I mean, you do get essentially priority booking, right, when you do the back-to-back.
Yeah.
Priority boarding, but yeah, and you get double Castaway Cay status, Castaway Club status.
Yep.
You get two.
Yep, you do.
Sailings.
You definitely get. You can get to your levels quicker doing that. But I just don't like Treasures they're already announcing some 7-day itineraries for that. I just don't understand why they wouldn't offer that for Wish. Maybe push Wish into the 7 and make Treasure the 3 and 4 for a year. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I really wanted, I don't know if it'll be feasible, but I really want to do the Wish, do all the things I missed, and then go on the Treasure. And I can do all the things that are new to the Treasure, and then maybe some of the things that are similar to the Wish that I just didn't have time for.
Yeah. I just want to go on a cruise again. Like let's go. So momentsofmagictravel.com. And again, as we wrap up, if you are new to our channel, be sure to like and subscribe. Make sure you like and comment, give us a 5-star rating on all audio podcast platforms. We appreciate you listening. This is episode 40. So any closing thoughts, guys, as we wrap up?
No, I got nothing.
I keep saying it was a damn near perfect vacation. So, props to Disney, props, for the whole experience. It was a perfect trip. So I have no other words other than it was just wow. Well, that'll do it for episode 40 of the Universal Magic Podcast. Again, for Jeff, for Alyssa, I'm John. We'll see you next time. Have a great night.
Everyone.